When you look at the first half of the NBA's existence, the sport was dominated by the center position. Names like Mike and Russell, Chamberlain, Abdul-Jabbar, and Reed are some of the biggest names in the sport because of the importance of the big man. However, there is one player who is consistently overlooked, who played for over 20 years in the league, crossing from the ABA to the NBA, winning 3 MVPs, winning a title in the 80s, and playing for a total of 9 teams throughout his career. Moses Malone, to me, is the most underrated player in the league's history. This is the anatomy of a superstar, and this is Moses Malone. So, Adam, when you hear the name Moses Malone, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
I would just say strength, like just physical strength. Like the guy is just a tank of a man, and is I think probably the best rebounder in the history of the league. There's maybe guys who put up bigger numbers and things like that. The game was different at different time, but just in terms of like technically like going and getting the ball on the offensive and defensive glass, he's the best rebounder in probably the history of the league, and was also great at a bunch of other things. And he's clearly one of the better guys that we've ever had. 3-time MVP, obviously. I think your term underrated is totally fair. I think there's a lot of people who don't realize quite how good he was because of maybe that he did hop around a bit and doesn't necessarily belong to one team. I think all that stuff kind of matters, and had a little bit of a different start, right? Kind of one of those high school guys that there was all sorts of ABA drama and NBA, and he also played in this era that's just a little bit lost to history, that kind of late 70s era. So yeah, but I mean, when you really study his career, it's like, good Lord, this guy was a monster for a long time. And I'm so excited to dig into his games.
He was a guy who, whenever we originally came with this list, I think we had him in a tier lower, and I fought. I was like, nah, go look. And we ended up with him in the Galaxy Opal tier, which is 11 through 18, which we have now done 3 guys in this tier. We've done his former teammate in Dr. J. We did a Kobe. So we're knocking out the Galaxy Opals left and right here. But other big men, the only other big man in this tier is Kevin Garnett. And so if that gives you a little bit of a picture of where we think Moses Malone kind of lists in NBA history, there you go. I think you said it right. He's a man with no like allegiance to a team. Like he has no team that claims him more than anything. Like I think Philly fans love him just for thanking him that he brought that title at 83. But I think he is very much just like I'm going to go kick ass no matter where I am and no matter what team I'm on. Unfortunately, we just see that the talent around him was never always the greatest. And honestly, some of the bottom tier talent the league could provide for him. We talked about it offline like last week after we recorded a few pods. Like Malone had like in those Wizards years, like the Bullets years, sorry, like those were brutal teams that he's playing with. This Rockets team that we're going to talk about, like Robert Reed and who else? Like there is no other name, and no one knows who Robert Reed is. Like outside of sicko heads like us, no one knows who Robert Reed
is.
And, yeah. There are so many different guys that you're like, oh, he played with him. Like, don't get me wrong, he played with Dr. J. He played with Barkley. He played with those Sixers teams were by far the best teams he ever played with. But that's it. Like, and so I think that's the unfortunate thing of like when we talk about these Jenga blocks, he had great individual blocks. His teams around him might not be so great, but his individual like success is why he's so high up on our list. And if that doesn't tell you what we think about Moses Malone, because you said it, he's probably the best rebounder, but he's also just one of the most physically impounding players. And for a guy who is listed at 6'10", it's not like he was like 7 foot and just thick as hell. He was just a 6'10" masterpiece of athleticism and like strength. And I think that's what is like super impressive of him.
And positioning. He was so good about positioning and like when to jump and when to tip the ball, when to go get like he was a master at that, at kind of manipulating rebounds essentially. And then reading his second jump was so quick. For a guy that size, it was really impressive. Just how he moved around the court, especially in his younger years. But yeah, I mean, like you said, he plays 21 years in between the NBA and ABA. So he plays his first years in the ABA before coming over in '76 as part of the merger. So 21 years, but the most he ever played for one team was Houston for 6 years. So it's like it's spread out. It's all over the place, right? It's Houston. It's 5 years in Philly. It's 3 in Atlanta, 2 in Washington, 2 in Milwaukee, 1 for Utah, 1 for Spears of St. Louis, 17 games at the end of his career with San Antonio, and then Buffalo for 2 games right after the lockout. And there's all sorts of, issues there. So yeah, he's just kind of all over the place. And for a guy who's so high on our list, that's just a bit unusual. So you can normally kind of point to like, the other guys that we've talked about, like Julius Erving, Kobe Bryant. It's like Julius Erving, for all intents and purposes, obviously he was great with the Nets, but he's a Sixer, right? His whole NBA tenure was with the Sixers. He is a Sixers icon and legend. Kobe Bryant, obviously a Lakers legend. So it's just a little bit harder to place, Moses.
That's completely fair. And I think that's why people just let him fall down on a list, is just like his jumping around. And again, it's not like he was like a locker room cancer by any means. It was just like he was just a massive contract. Like, and unfortunately that kind of just diminished like some of the guys that you can bring around a guy like that. So I mean, for better or worse, it sucked, but man, he was just so effing good. He was Rodman before Rodman, and was like rebounding wise. Like you're talking about like the tip drills that he would just do for himself. It was very Rodman-esque in that sense. But man, he is just so much fun to watch. I love the chairman of the boards, is one of my favorite nicknames as well. But yeah, I mean, I want to go back because we talked about like the 3 MVPs. He has here's the thing. They're all in Houston, or no, sorry. There's the one in 83 in Philly, but the first 2 in Houston. And I think back to that 82 season where he's playing the most minutes of everybody. He's averaging nearly 15 rebounds a game while averaging 31 points. Like, it's just on Adam, a team that has truly, I mean, it's one of their better seasons in Houston at 46 and 36. Like, it's not like they're just above 500. They're eking out of these seasons just above 500. It's him, it's aging Elvin Hayes, and it's Robert Reed. I mean, again, Robert Reed getting so much mention on this podcast for the first time ever. But yeah, I don't know. I could go on about this team, but either way, I just love Moses Malone. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, how he got to the NBA is like quite a story, right? So it's
Correct.
like he's a high school. He wanted to come out of high school, but that wasn't allowed in the NBA. But the ABA did allow it. So he was taken in the 3rd round to the ABA draft, 1974 ABA draft by the Utah Stars. Ended up deciding to play for them. The ABA obviously bent those rules and allowed it. He initially signed a 5-year contract worth $1 million. He was kind of skinny earlier in his career, right? 215. And they began playing his pro career as a forward, and then kind of moved to center as he gained weight and got stronger and just became a much better all around player. But the next season he plays the Spirits of St. Louis, and then there's the very awkward Buffalo Braves like interim where again he plays 2 games. So yeah, he had already been selected by the NBA's New Orleans Jazz in a 1975 pre-merger draft of ABA players of undergraduate age. However, the NBA let them place Malone into the 1976 ABA dispersal draft pool in exchange for the return of their first-round pick in 1977, which they used to trade for Gail Goodrich, which turned into Magic Johnson for the Lakers. So all Magic Johnson and Malone are combined there too. The 76 dispersal draft, which is held for the remaining ABA players whose teams did not join the NBA, Malone was selected by the Portland Trailblazers with the 5th overall pick. The Blazers, who had acquired power forward Maurice Lucas in the draft, chose Malone for trading purposes. With a front line of Lucas, Walton, and Lloyd Neal, Portland figured Malone would see little action. They then traded him to the Buffalo Braves prior to the first game of the 76-77 season for a first-round draft choice and $232,000. Malone played in 2 games with Buffalo. Because they could not meet Malone's demands for playing time, they then traded him to the Houston Rockets 2 games into the season in exchange for first-round draft picks in 1977 and 1978. That turned out to be one of the best trades in Houston history because he obviously goes on to win 2 MVPs, leads into the finals in 81, and was just awesome for 6 years. And again, that is probably that's the longest stretch he played anywhere. His number is retired there. It is in Philly as well. But yeah, just a crazy stretch just to get to his first like proper NBA team.
Buffalo only playing him 3 minutes a game is just something horrific.
Crazy.
I have no idea what you're doing there, Buffalo. Ridiculous. Wow. So let's just start digging into these games. Let's dig into the 5 games that we do have for Malone here. We do this for every player. What are the 5 games that we decided kind of define Moses Malone's career?
Yeah, so for the first one, I chose the best game of his first MVP season, 78-79 with the Rockets. This is a regular season game from February 9th, Houston Rockets at New Orleans Jazz. Moses scores 33 points and 37 rebounds, 19 of them offensive.
Yeah.
19 offensive rebound in a 106-99 win. Again, his best overall game during his first MVP season. Just a crazy stat line, 33 and 37. The next one, Western Conference first round, 1981, Western Conference first round, game one, Rockets at Lakers. This is the first game that we're going to be doing in full, that we watch in full. 1982 regular season, so his second MVP season is probably his best overall game of his career. He plays the Clippers at home, scores 53 points on 19 of 30 shooting, 22 boards, 4 assists, 2 blocks. The best overall performance from his second MVP season. And then the next year, he moves on to Philly, obviously in the trade. 1983 Eastern Conference second round, game one. This is the second game we're going to do for Moses. And then the last one is 1987 Eastern Conference first round, game three. Detroit Pistons at Washington Bullets. Moses gives the loaded Pistons everything they could handle in a 31-16 performance, but his team ultimately comes up 1 point short, losing the series in 3 games. Maybe his last truly great playoff game, and this is obviously he's a member of the Bullets at this point. He had been traded from Philly to Washington, but was still really good. He actually was an all-star both years he was with Washington, so still a very good player. But yeah, again, just a part of that hopping around. And we wanted to have kind of games from different teams that he played on to represent his career. So yeah, those are the games that represent Moses.
And Barkley's talked about that trade so many times, just like the fact that they traded what they did to Washington for freaking Moses Malone.
Okay, they traded Moses and 2 picks. They
Correct.
gave up 2 picks for Jeff Ruland. Yes. Crazy. Like just malpractice. Like
listen,
yeah. I mean, if that happened today, I don't even know what to compare it to. It's so
that's
ridiculous.
The Luka trade. That's the Luka trade.
It's worse. It's worse to me. Like, because you like, well, I don't know.
Jeff Ruland at least was no, you're right. It is the mixture of picks that go with it, but fudge, that Luka trade is just so bad, man.
Yeah.
We will listen. That should be a list we work on. It's just some of the craziest trades and
yeah, wildest transactions or something like that.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's go to game 1, 1981, and this might be one of the weirdest ones we watch for a player, just because the first half is just distinctly different than the second half for a guy's scoring game. However, his impact on the game still miraculous. It's just still phenomenal. I think we both have the same stretch for Moses Malone, and it's just a quarter, and it's the second quarter is what I had down. 9 of 12 in the second quarter. And Adam, he goes 15 for 34 in the game. So let's do a quick math here for those at home. He made 9 of his 15 shots in the second quarter, and it just goes, the free field goal percentage goes, it just goes straight down. It's just an incredible second quarter. I think him versus Kareem in that quarter is just chef's kiss, because at this point, Kareem is still like the main scoring option. While Magic has higher scoring numbers in this game, like Kareem's clearly still like the number one option they're trying to get to. I do like the little back and forth of them trying not to totally guard each other throughout like that first half of the game. Malone's guarding
Coleman Johnson. Or Coleman Johnson guarding Kareem. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. And then like he's guarding like Chones or like a Landsberg like throughout it all. So it's just like a little bit of like gamesmanship a little bit. And then they're like, okay, let me go guard each other now in the second half. So it's kind of just fun. But I think Malone in that first half or that second quarter, because he plays 46 minutes in this game, 46 minutes out of the 48. But man, you feel him just such an incredible impact in that second quarter.
Yeah, I had the second quarter as well. I mean, he just goes nuts. He shows everything. He shows everything in the arsenal. It's mid-rangers, it's putbacks, it's tip-ins, it's crunching screens that lead to like little pick and roll, buckets. Like he is just everywhere. His touch was fantastic. Like his touch from like 8 feet, like not layups, not really jumpers, but like these just kind
of push shot.
Yeah, he's like in between like little 8-9 foot, push shots, like you said. He's just excellent at those. And the ones he missed, he would gobble up the rebound and just lay it back in. Like he was so good at reading the misses. I mean, inside he was just so hard to stop him because just such a crafty player.
They talk about it. Russell talks about it on the broadcast. Which, listen, love you, Bill Russell. Boy, was that brutal.
No,
not a good one.
We got Bill Russell on both games. He was
No, it was just fun because you're like, okay, he's talking about a jump shot. I'm like, oh, let me just rewatch this. I'm like, That's not a jump shot. That is, like you said, the little push shot that he has. He's got the little, like, they have this moment that they break down in the second quarter where he jab steps on Jabbar and then he does like a little, like, and that pushes Jabbar back ever so slightly. He's like, okay, I'm going to do like, whoop. And we talked about Ewing's touch 2 episodes ago. Malone's the same way, man. Like his touch is just similar.
It is. It is.
But this is going to sound bad. This just feels like an Andre Drummond moment though too, because every miss he had, he like of his own, he's like, I'm still getting this. Like it's going back in just on the second try. But it felt Andre Drummond-esque, like for the people who are like today, like NBA fans, it's like that's what you can kind of compare it to. However, the touch with Malone, far better. And the defense of Malone, far better. And the free throw percentage, insanely better than Andre Drummond. So don't ever put Andre Drummond's name in Moses Malone's mouth.
Yeah, just specifically the offensive rebounding is similar.
Correct.
Yes,
That
yes.
is the only thing you can truly compare it to.
Yeah. No, I think this game it signifies Moses too, because like part of the thing that maybe keeps him out of like the top like 10 players of all time is he is a little bit inefficient. Like he is a little bit of like a kind of high volume and that's like when you really look at like some of the advanced stuff and like on court off court stuff is like he doesn't really drive winning the same way some of those very top players do. But then you kind of really break down his career and like the length of it and then the dominance kind of within, and it's like, oh, this guy's got to be in this kind of top 20 that we have. So yeah, that's probably what keeps him from like really getting into that like upper echelon of like the top 10 to 12 players ever. Is just a little bit of inefficiency, and then he would wear down sometimes too. Like he would like
when you see this
course of games, and he would kind of wear down, and that was that was part of it too. But I mean, he just overall, I mean, just so dominant.
Yeah, I mean, man, he is such a fun guy to watch. God, it never was a dull moment. Speaking of dull moments, non-basketball moment of the game, what did you have?
Brent Musburger's halftime reports.
Oh.
I loved it. The YouTube version I watched had it, and he's like, they like put this snazzy music on, and he's like giving like the like highlights from all the games around like the NBA from the last couple of days. I thought it was so fun, and there was like a real big story. I can't remember the guy's name, but about a quarterback from the Rams who left to go play in the CFL because he like made some contract demands, and I'll have to get his name. It's
I don't remember.
It's like a big deal, and they interview a like current Rams player who's at the game, like at the Lakers game, and he's like, yeah, it's just like one of those things, and it's like this is just a bizarre thing to do in the middle of the game, but yeah, that was my favorite, the Brent Musburger halftime show.
So in the broadcast I watched, we got the commercials.
Yes. Yeah.
Give me the Miller Lite commercial where it's the cop chasing the guy in the car, and then they're like, hey, let's cut to a Miller Lite. I'm like, are we just promoting drunk driving? I'm like, in that moment, I'm like, is that what we're promoting right now? And it was just one of those weird commercials that you get in like the 80s. And man, it was just so funny. But yeah, that was what I came back to, was that certainly wasn't Rick Barry and Bill Russell on the announcing. Did not need that.
Yeah, no. Russell, when he first started doing it, was pretty good at the announcing, like in the 70s. So that you can tell by this point, he's just like not that into it.
He's tired of it.
Yeah, he's like, just you can just tell. Like they go to him at one point, and it's like, oh yeah, the Lakers have really got their running game going. Bill, what do you think? Or, yeah, Bill, what do you think? He's like, yeah, they're really starting to run. It's like,
thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, on to the next play. Like, just not much there. Yeah, it is kind of a bummer. But yeah, this is a weird Rockets team. I forgot to give the kind of like breakdown.
So sorry
how we got there, but they were under 500. They're a 40-42 team, 6th seed in the West. This is when the 6 teams made it in each conference. So it was 12. The top 2 seeds would get a bye. Kind of like how baseball did it for a long time, right? 12 teams getting in.
They're still doing it now.
Top 2 teams get a bye, and then it's of course, yeah. And so they're playing the Lakers, the defending champs Lakers, who are the 3 seed, like the heavy favorites. But it's just a best of 3 series in this first before they go to the best of 7 in the conference semis. And yeah, the Rockets steal his game. They win game 1, and then they lose game 2 at home in Houston, and then win game 3 at home or back in LA, and go on to make the finals eventually. A 40-42 team. They actually ended up playing the Kings in the conference finals, and it's 2 40-42 teams in the conference finals. The 5 and the 6 seeds, the bottom 2 teams in the West, end up playing in the conference finals, both under 500, and then the Rockets become the first ever under 500 team to make the finals.
And a game we watched for the Houston Rockets.
It was
that of your franchise.
Yes.
Let me tell you, a wild game.
Yeah, you understand why they were both under 500. Yes.
Yeah, you do. But I think one of the things about this Rockets team too is, so like quickly, the starting lineup for them, it's Malone, Robert Reed, again, 4th mention for Robert Reed on this pod, Billy Paultz, Dunleavy, I didn't remember Dunleavy being out there, honestly. And then I looked at the stat line. I'm like, when? And then I rewatched the game. I'm like, there we go. And then Tom Henderson. And I was like, Calvin Murphy is the name everyone remembers just because it's just like the Rockets like history to it. And then Alan Le- Alan Lavelle.
Lavelle, yeah, Lavelle, yeah.
Well, those are like the two main guys off the bench, and they're like the two main guards that they kind of just throw out there for Henderson and Dunleavy. And I'm like, there we go. That makes more sense. But it is such a wild collection of players because Lavelle, I feel like, and Murphy starting later on in the playoffs because I don't remember
Yes.
Dunleavy being in that Kings or the Sacramento series
Yeah,
later on.
or the finals. And then Reed is the only guy who actually stays with the team and is on that 86 team with Akeem and Sampson, 5 years later, because like the rest of that team is pretty much gone. So yeah, but Robert Reed actually had a nice little run there with the Rockets. But yeah, if he's your second guy, that's what I'm saying. This is not a classic team, but Moses just drags them to the finals. I mean, he just through his own just sheer force, he gets them to the finals.
Lavelle's also there too.
He was. I was gonna say that was the only guy I was like I should have mentioned Lavelle because he might have been on the team as well.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he lasted.
He's
like balding. He's like bald in 86.
He's
like,
always balding. Like the man, no offense to him. Like I think he was born half balding, but like it just never felt like he had hair. But he was never like a true starter at any point. He was always just like a bench guy. He was like a great guy to have on the bench. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to jump to 83?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Gosh, what a weird we're back to the Knicks again, which we did 2 weeks ago or 2 episodes ago with Ewing, but this is before Patrick Ewing's on this team. And This is 1983. It's the Sixers versus the Knicks in the conference semifinals. Why don't you tell us how we got here to this Knicks Sixers series?
Yeah, so we already talked about the trade, 1982. He basically signs as a free agent. That's really what it is. There's like all sorts of money problems kind of for the Rockets. He's going to demand a $2 million a year contract. The Rockets like, we can't really do that. But he signed an offer sheet with Philly. So Philly was kind of like, well, we'll do it like as a sign and trade. You sign him, trade him to us. We'll give you Caldwell Jones in a first round pick. And so it was basically a money thing for Houston, which is why he had to leave. Obviously, he's the MVP of the league, and he leaves Houston as his contract's up. He was unrestricted free agent. Unrestricted free agency and free agency in general just worked a lot differently in 1982. So there was lots of kind of like compensation stuff. And this was just kind of like Philly's way of doing it. Plus, it cleared the path for him to obviously start at center and be the main guy. And Caldwell Jones, see ya. So 83 Sixers are one of the best teams in NBA history. No question about it. 65-17, best record in the league. They nearly went faux. That was Moses' big prediction before the playoffs. He said, we're going to win all 3 series. We're going to sweep them faux. 4 games. They almost do it. They go faux 5-0. They lose 1 game to Milwaukee in the conference finals. But other than that, they win every other playoff game. So they're 12-1 in the playoffs. Just, again, a dominant team. This is still, 12 teams in the playoffs, so they didn't have to play that first round series. They got a bye. They had the best record in the league, and they swept the Lakers in the finals after advancing from these first 2 rounds. So yeah, a ridiculous team. We did an 83 Sixers game for Dr. J recently. There's an awesome book that just came out. I've started it. It's sitting right over there. It is, I think it actually, like the literal title of it is Moses and the Doctor, and it's all about the 83 Sixers. It's really good. So now that we've done these 2 guys, I really want to finish the book. So yeah, awesome team. I mean, this was we had to have a game from this season on there.
I agree. And this is a starting lineup of Malone, Dr. J, back to Mo Cheeks. He's back. Andrew Toney. Motherfucker. And then I will never, ever get this name right. Mark Ivaroni. Ivaroni. I should know that. Bobby Jones coming off the bench.
Yes, Bobby Jones off the bench. And he usually played more than Ivaroni. But there's this hilarious bit on the 83 Sixers championship DVD, or VHS back in the day, but I have it on DVD. There's this Sixers fan who wears some sort of like shirt, and he shows off the shirt. He's got a jacket on, and he's like Andrew Toney, Moses Malone, and Ivaroni. No baloney. Sixers all the way. It's like this very 1980s like little like rhyme thing that he tries to do, and it's like I love that he threw Ivaroni in there because it rhymed what he wanted to say. So yeah, he was again, he wasn't the reason this team was so good, but he fit his role. And Bobby Jones would come off the bench and play his great defense and rebound and push the pace. And the guards, I mean, yeah, just having obviously 2 of the 20 greatest players ever in Dr. J and Moses, and then also 2 awesome guards. This was just a loaded team. Just genuinely one of the, a handful, like 5 or 6 best individual seasons in NBA history. I think that's fair to say.
Absolutely. And it's because of those 2 top 15, 18 players that we have. Malone's stat line from this game, 15 and 23, 17 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 38 points.
Yeah, not bad.
Jesus. What did you have for the best sequence, or the sequence that most defined who Moses Malone is?
In the third quarter, he has an offensive rebound and then like kind of a little pump fake. Someone flies by and then a thunderous dunk, like off of his own. I actually don't think it was his own miss. It was somebody else's miss. And it was just like very Moses, like the whole backboard shaking. It's just kind of a classic, like strength. Like he did what he was great at. It was offensive rebounding, getting in position, being smart at everybody, and then just thunder, like absolutely hammering a ball. And remember, he actually missed the last 4 games of the regular season. And they talked about how he was questionable going into game 1 of the playoffs because like there's some kind of knee issues and stuff like that. I mean, you don't see that in this game.
No.
I mean, he's dominant in this game. It was awesome.
That was going to be my non-basketball moment, was the fact that like they hyper fixate on that a little bit throughout this game. It's like, but man, you don't see it at all. Like, Jesus, he is just on another level. I'll say this. It's, for me, there are these moments in that first quarter when he knows like the matchup is him versus Cartwright, truly. Like, that's the only matchup that truly matters in this series. And you can see whenever Cartwright's on him, he's like, you're mine. And especially in that first quarter, he's got like 2 putbacks that are just like, they're great in that first quarter. 2 of his 6 offensive rebounds come in that first quarter, and he's just so good. Because the Sixers went from Daryl Dawkins thunderous dunks to Moses Malone thunderous dunks.
Yeah.
Like they didn't lose a beat with big men and just their power. And so his ability to push the fast break for them throughout that first half. There was a few runs where he kicks it to Cheeks and Cheeks just goes. And it's just like, that's when they were at their best. Whenever he could still facilitate the next, like to be the hockey assist almost. Like he had a few of those in that first half, which was very impressive. So, man,
he was also so good as the trailer too, right? Because he could either offensive rebound or they could just kind of find him as like the trailer, and he just barrel his way to the rim for a layup. I mean, they just commit fouls. Like he was excellent at that. At like that specific role, he was really good.
Cheeks found him, like Cheeks had 10 assists in this game, and I think like 3 or 4 of those were just like to easy layups for Malone at some point during this game. So I totally agree with that. Much more efficient game than the first game we did for him. What did you have for his non-basketball moment?
I had this is another one that had commercials. Not every. It was like kind of edited. Like there was some. Like it was clearly an old VHS
It was like
transfer.
the first half like had more edits, and then it felt like in the second half they kind of gave up.
Yes. And there was an insane KFC commercial that was just like Marin walked through the room and she was like, "What in the world are you watching?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's a game from 1983." I was like, "This is crazy." It's like a bunch of employees are like singing outside. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Also, the KFC just like looked so different. It was like this brown building. It's just like, wow. It's just, I mean, it's 43 years ago, so it's gonna look different. But it was truly wild KFC commercial.
That's the thing. I think that's one of my favorite things about the 80s. Is the commercials. We get the Razor commercials too that come in, and those are just top notch. It feels infomercially for the Razors more than anything, more than any of those other ones, but it's so funny to me. Yeah, I think the commercials of the 80s are just top notch. Real quick though, because we talk about this team. They go on to win. They're one of the better teams in the NBA's history. It is super fun because the year before this, Sixers go on and they lose the finals to the Lakers. And you're like, oh my gosh, they're this close. It's the Andrew Toney game against the Celtics in 82 conference finals. They're that good. Man, I think they don't even need an extra piece. They're like, man, let's run it back. We'll be better next year. They're like, nah, hold on. Let's add the 3-time MVP real quick, or the 2-time MVP. Well, at this point, 2-time. And he's like,
the reigning MVP. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, maybe this will help us out. And then he's the MVP. I think
it'd be like the Spurs right now acquiring Shea. That's the exact same situation.
Yeah, exactly.
The team that loses finals adding the MVP, the current MVP.
Yeah, it's incredible. And that's the thing. It's this, and it's not like they had a bad big man. Caldwell Jones and like Dawkins, they were solid.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
But it's like C+, B- to A+++. It's just like the massive upgrade makes the whole difference. Because I wanted to go back real quickly just to look at this Sixers team throughout the season. And some numbers drop, like Dr. J's scoring numbers drop a little bit, but it's to accommodate for Malone. But this team is just so deep, like weirdly deep. Like, no offense to Mark Ivoroni, like he's still starting, and they still have Bobby Jones coming off the bench. I know the name Clint Richardson just because he's
Clint
a
Richardson,
solid,
yeah,
like,
yeah, he was solid, yeah.
yeah. And then Clement Johnson doesn't play much for them, but it's a list of names that you're like, oh, I know that name. Oh, that name looks familiar. But it's like those 7, 8 guys, and for the early '80s, that's good. Like if you got
Mhm.
that many like guys, you're like, oh, I know that name. You're working with magic. You're working with fire there. So I mean, I think that's what was important
Well,
too.
and those guards were so good that on any given night, if Moses didn't have it, it's like, well, one of them could be the leading scorer. I mean, like they're both that good. Like, and Cheeks was such a good orchestrator. Yeah,
They all
they just had
played.
a matchup problem for everybody. Every team they played, they had a matchup problem somewhere.
They had 4. Then their top 4 players played. Like that's the other thing too. Like
Yes.
Irving was the only one who, I mean, he had 72 games, but like everyone else was 78 for Moses, 79 for Mo, and then 81 for Tony. One of my favorite things is if you got 3 guys who you can get 20 in a game, then you're cooking. They almost had 3 different players average 20 points a game, but Tony did 19.7. I mean, if you want to round up, we can call it that. But like that's almost unheard of. Like there are very few title winning teams, like the Warriors, like of the 2010s were that good with Clay, Katie, and Steph. But I mean, we rarely have title winning teams that do that. And if you have 3 of those guys, you better be winning the title, or you better be freaking close to doing it. So it was very impressive. So we've said it before, they go on to win the finals, and it just feels like a
Yeah.
breeze for them most of these
Yeah, they
series.
win this game 112, 102. But the rest of the series was actually relatively close. The games were relatively close, but it was a sweep. Bernard King going out injured in this game was a big deal. He only played in the first
Yeah,
half. That obviously hurt. I love these Knicks jerseys with the New York under the number on the front. I think that's so cool. Just like a little bit different. And we've talked about it before, but Cheeks was great in this game. I mean, we've watched 2 Maurice Cheeks games here in the last few weeks. You're talking about
I
Patrick
know.
Ewing and Moses here, and he was great,
And
great in
Dr.
both of
J.
them. And Dr. J, yes, multiple Dr. J's. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I just this is such an awesome team. I actually would like to watch more. It'd be kind of interesting to watch the one game they lost in the playoffs and be like, okay, how did that happen? How did
Josh,
they lose that one game? The Bucks team was really good, and the Bucks were coming off a sweep of the Celtics, which is kind of what made the Celtics recalibrate and then lead to their 3 straight finals appearances after this. So yeah, or I guess 4 straight finals appearances for the Celtics, right? So 4 straight, 84, 84, 85, 86, and 87. Yeah. It's just it's an awesome team. Yeah, can't say it enough.
they're super blessed. Do you have a Moses Malone jersey?
I don't, and a Moses Malone Spirits of St. Louis jersey is high on my list. I know somebody who can get one. It's
You
not
talked
cheap,
about this
but
jersey before.
yes, but it's on my list of ones to get from him. Yes,
I love it. And that would be the
I,
one I'd want too. As a St.
I have a
Louis
list
guy.
of 10. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're a St. Louis guy. I lived there for a little bit. Also, just like what a cool logo and team name is Spirits of St. Louis. Just awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Again, fun category here. What other top 50 player would you pair with them? So I think there's one thing we should do from here on out is like the guys that they do play with, like what other top 50 players did they play with? And then the ones that we can't consider them. So is it just Dr. J and Barkley
Do- Dominique,
and Dominique?
yeah,
That it?
believe so. Yeah, because we don't have any of the Rockets guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah, because we don't have obviously none of the other Sixers. So yeah, Barkley, Dr. J, and Dominique. Yeah, he played with all of them. Oh, I mean, briefly with Robinson.
Okay, I don't count that. Anyways,
Yeah, 17 games at the end of his career. Yeah,
doesn't count to me. So
Yeah.
what other top 50 player would you put with Malone?
I had Gary Payton. I wanted just like a trash talking, nasty guy to go with him. Again, table setter. He did need that. That is one thing. He was a bit of a like. He was not a guy who's like just going to operate from the top, just like, get his own bucket all the time. But table setter, he was fortunate enough. He actually did play with some pretty good table setters over the course of his career. And a guy who could just be just as nasty as him, like on defense and on offense. Attack the rim relentlessly. You could give him some shooting off of the ball. Good entry passer, good lob passer. Yeah, I think they would actually pair pretty well together. They would kill each other or be like best friends. And so it's a little bit risky, but yeah, Gary Payton was the one I came up with.
I like it. So I went with a little better guy. And I went with a guy who's got the insane work ethic as him. Guard. But man, I feel like if this player would miss, it's like a Moses Malone putback, and it's Steph Curry. Like if you put Steph, like you talk about hard hitting screens that he has in both of these games. Like, hey, Steph, come do a nice little pick and roll with Moses Malone. Oh, wait, that guy's 10 feet away because
Yeah.
Moses sent him to another stratosphere and now you're wide open. Or, hey, run off like off ball picks and Malone's going to set some hard ones for you. And if you miss, oh, by the way, I'm the best offensive rebounder the game has ever seen. So, hey, I'm going to go get this and go put it back right here for you. So
Yeah.
it's like, I think
Or you double off the pick, and it's like you hit Moses in the short roll, and he's got like that money little 8-footer. Like he's so good at that. So yeah, he's like there's just kind of nothing you can do to stop that combo.
I cheated a little bit by going pretty high on this player, but I'm telling you,
Yeah,
Steph
that's
would
fine.
be like the right guy to go for it. Now it's different with Peyton because Peyton at least brings like that A+ defense, and Curry's a B+, A- defender. But it's just like, man, I think if you we talked about this, he just never had like a outside of Tony, a bona fide scorer. Malone, I mean Jeff Malone later on, like when he was at the Bullets, a little bit too, but man, it felt like he just needed a shooter just around him, and he never really had like that bona fide shooter. And I think Curry would be just that.
Yeah, because Dominique wanted to operate in similar spaces too.
Correct.
That was kind of like
It's
part of it.
definitely a
Yeah.
scorer, but it's just
Yeah.
a shooter more so than anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I did think about shooters. Like they're like like would Reggie Miller be really good with him running off screens? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that could be a guy that could be really good with him too.
But Curry could still table set too in
Exactly.
moments, and that's
Yeah,
why I
exactly.
think Curry would be perfect for that.
Yeah, I like that one. That's good.
Where is he now, Adam?
Yeah, unfortunately passed away 2015. He was 60 years old. Kind of part of a long line, unfortunately, of former NBA big men who died relatively young. Sound like there was heart complications. There's just kind of some kind of medical theories that guys just that size, that big, that were kind of that active. It's just harder to live a really long life. At that with that much like just kind of weight and just sheer size. So yeah, there's an unfortunate line of players that have kind of dealt with that. So really, really unfortunate we didn't get to see him kind of be at that like NBA 75 thing and all that stuff. He unfortunately passed before all that. So yeah, he hasn't been with us for a while now. So it's pretty sad. But I do remember kind of like right around the time he died, there was like, the league did a couple of pretty cool things and, moment of silence stuff. And then I believe the Sixers and Rockets wore something on their jersey like the rest of the year, some sort of, patch or something or a black, band or something like that. But yeah, he's missed. He was an awesome character and also just like hilarious. Like he was a great quote. Like the fo thing is classic, and he didn't go to college, and he kind of came from a rougher background, so he kind of spoke like he
He
was
spoke
just
his
like
mind.
yeah, he was just like yeah, whatever. This is just yeah, and he was just a very funny, almost like an Anthony Edwards type, where he's just kind of like you're gonna
I
get
know,
something
yeah.
kind of interesting out of him every time he speaks.
Yeah. It's definitely because they do the interview before the Rockets game, which we watched with him, and
Hmm.
he definitely it's not like he stumbles over his words, he just doesn't he almost is looking for, like, the eloquent thing to say in his, like the way he's trying to talk, so, man, I think that is such a great way to put it for him, so I love Moses Malone, man. I think kind of felt that in the intro when I wrote it. It was one of the guys I was excited to talk about, and man, I'm glad we were able to do it, and he belongs in this top 50 list 100%.
No question. Yeah, I mean, he also just like an all-time name, like just Moses Malone, like just such a cool, like that guy is going to be good at something. You know what I mean? Like someone named Moses Malone. And yeah, so many different ways you can go with the poster. It's like, Moses, he delivered his people, or Moses, yeah, let my people go. It's just all
Yeah,
sorts of biblical tie-ins you can do that are hilarious. And chairman of the boards, like you said, is a great nickname. So yeah, kind of an all-time NBA character. A really, really, really fun guy to dig into.
absolutely. Well, talk about another all-time figure and one of the best players this league has ever had. We're going into our top 10 for the first time in this series, and we're going with the legend himself, Larry Bird. And that'll be what we do next. And
Big
get
one,
ready.
big
Big,
one.
big one. We might have a guest, we might not. I don't know. Still up for debate here. Still waiting to hear back from some people, but we'll see. Either way, get ready to go. It's gonna be a blast. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks everyone for just continuously supporting us by listening to us. We also just for programming for people who are listening, get ready for like September. If you are into video games like Adam and I are slightly into 2K, get ready for a fun little project that we've got going. If you want to follow us on Twitch, I can't believe I just said that on a podcast. Go follow us on Twitch at Hooper's Almanac because we're gonna
It'll
be
be
starting.
worth it.
Yeah, it'll
Trust
be
us.
worth it. We're gonna stream some 2K, and it's gonna be a blast. So thanks everyone for listening. And this has been the Anatomy of a Superstar, Moses Malone.